Hi, David.
Hey, Dr. Junger, how you doing?
Very good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I am good, but I'm also feeling within myself and also others
Yeah.
anxiety and fear and in my previous lifetime I used to work inside hospitals and run intensive care units, so I understand what that entails,
What
and
what the front line is going through?
yeah, I feel for my colleagues. And I mean,
Yeah.
I was at the hospital in Lower Manhattan at NYU downtown hospital when the first bombings in the Twin Towers went off.
Right.
Not 9/11. The years before there was an attempt. I don't know if you
Hmm.
remember. And it was just smoke inhalation, but the emergency room, since we were the closest hospital, got filled up immediately.
Right.
And it was not even a tidbit of what is happening today, but that in itself was incredibly hard on everybody.
Right.
So I can't imagine
Well,
what everybody's going through now.
yeah, and I think the comforting part about it is we're all in it together.
That's true.
So, here we are to spread a little bit of light and share a little bit with everyone. And for those of you who don't know, Dr. Younger is not only a wonderful, esteemed Genexa medical advisor, but the best-selling author and founder of the Clean program, and just a great friend. So we're excited to kick this off and answer any questions that others have. But I was thinking that, you know, why don't you start with really describing the immune system and how it works and how that affects, everything that's going on in the world today.
That's a really good question, because when you go to basics and you know how to order things in your mind, then the decisions you make, when they're good, they make sense, and when they're not good, you may make them anyways, but you know. The immune system is like, Homeland Security, the FBI, the CIA, the police, the Army, the Navy, the Marines, and all the buildings and boats and all the instruments they use, right?
Right.
So, so the immune system is all over the body, and it also borrows parts from other systems. Like, for example, the intestines are part of the digestive system, but they also are the building, one of the buildings of the immune system. And I'll explain how this happens. This army, or this, organization, produces its own soldiers
Right.
that later on are going to be either the Air Force or the Navy, or the white blood cells, the lymphocytes. Now, the incredible thing is that these soldiers are born and they're not differentiated. Once they go out in the blood and they measure what's happening, then their future is decided. If everything is in balance, then some of them are going to patrol the arteries, some of them are going to go and deploy themselves in the lymphatic ganglions, right?
Right.
So, but most of them will go to the intestines and around the intestines, and they stay there. Why? Because there is where the most danger of something from the outside coming in, bacteria, viruses, parasites, a lot of them come through the intestines. It's the
Hmm.
biggest border with the outside world. So they are positioned right there, right at the wall. The wall is the intestinal wall that divides the inside of the body with the outside, where the food goes by. And the
Right.
food, and there's bacteria, and there's fungus, and there's all kinds of things inside. And the immune system is there waiting. All these soldiers are waiting, but they're not just sitting, they're getting trained. How? Some of these cells turn into submarines, and they're called dendritic cells, and they throw little extensions in between the cells of the wall that to spy inside the intestines.
Right.
And they can see what kind of bacteria there are, what kind of other microbes there are, and also what kind of food is passing. And it sends signals to the soldiers on the other side of the wall to start getting trained. If there's something that looks like a threat, they start getting and doing training exercises, right?
Right.
But this is normal life. Now, at times, they have to go and do an attack when there's an infection, but sometimes the wall starts getting broken, and the soldiers that we're not supposed to be seeing, only the submarine soldier was supposed to be seeing, now they start seeing, and now instead of training, they start shooting, and inflammation starts happening, right? This is
Right.
the leaky gut, and this is how inflammation begins, which we know now is the root cause of many of the chronic diseases of the modern world.
Right.
Now, but if everything stays fine, these cells, they start getting old, they have a few battles against some bacteria, some undigested food, and they start getting damaged and collecting toxins. But the good news is that the bone marrow is constantly producing new soldiers. And these new soldiers, they part of their training is eating up the old soldiers. So there's
Right.
always renovation, rejuvenation. Right? And
Right.
this is how the immune system stays well.
Right.
Now, part of the training of the immune system is the foods that you eat.
Right.
Because not only these submarines detect them, but also when they are absorbed, all these nutrients are floating around and they determine the environment that these soldiers live in, the main part of the environment that these soldiers live in, and they determine what these soldiers are going to start doing. So if in the blood, if in the air environment, there's mixed signals, there's toxins, there's debris, then they are in a state of agitation and defense, and they start producing an immunoglobulins. And this is part of the big confusion. Many people are walking around with broken guts, with leaky guts, to a certain extent, to different degrees. Then many people are eating things with chemicals that are causing all these reactions, or things that are not in sync with their bodies and are causing other reactions. So for most people, to a certain degree, this immune system, this army is tired, is full of injuries. The new soldiers are not being created as in the numbers needed because we're lacking
And
nutrients.
obviously, stress plays a whole role.
And then in stress, what it does, the moment the body is in this fight or flight or stress reaction, hormones are produced that maintain the stress, and then energy is diverted from
Right.
making new soldiers, from detoxifying, from digesting, and directed where? To the muscles, to the senses, for your survival, because that
Right.
is supposed to be turned on when a tiger is about to kill you.
Right.
Not when you're going to have an argument with your
That's right.
boss, you know.
That's right. No, for
So
sure.
so this
So talk more, Dr. Younger, just about the diet and what you're putting in there, and in a time like right now, the audience is asking things in terms of supplements, vitamin C, echinacea, but talk more about food and then head in that direction.
So what I'll do is I'll give you an idea of what to do, the most simple things to do, then the supplements, and then all the biohacking world of things to do, right?
Perfect.
So for the simple things to do, I want to start with another comparison, just like the one with the army, but this time, let's imagine a jungle, right? And in the jungle, there's diversity of all kinds of species. And they eat each other, but in a way that there is balance and there is harmony, you know?
Yeah.
And this variety of life results in stability. The jungle is a stable microorganism or macroorganism, right? It's
Right.
an organism. It's all this variety, and other things cannot come in. Human beings have a hard time in the jungle.
Right.
If the locust goes to the jungle, the frogs there will eat them up immediately. Other things cannot penetrate and disrupt the harmony or the stability of the jungle, right?
Right.
So that gives it the jungle resilience, right?
Right.
Now imagine now a field of soy, only soy planted,
Right.
one species of plant for miles and miles, right? They sucking the same nutrient, right?
Right.
And because there is no variability, no diversity, the plant becomes weak and therefore needs pesticides, insecticides, because anything can eat it up. It's
Right.
there. It's exposed. It's on its own. It's weak,
Right.
right?
Right.
So one species alone becomes weaker, right?
Right.
Now, in the same way, now think about your intestines, right? Your intestines are full of bacteria. It's like a jungle. If this jungle, microflora jungle, is
Right.
healthy, there's all kinds of species that interact. There's even healthy fungus, the good microbiome, right? And they
Right.
all live and it's difficult for other species, viruses, bacteria, other parasites to come in and they eat it up. And if they don't eat it up and they pass, then there is an immune system which was prepared, not wasting time doing all kinds of things, prepared and already informed by the submarine type cell, right?
Right.
So then they attack, right? So what gives this jungle inside of you the diversity it needs? The diversity in what you eat.
Right.
And mostly in a jungle, mostly in nature, what would you eat? Mostly plants. So the takeaway here is, if you
Right.
want your immune system to have, if you want your immune system to have resilience, then give it variety.
Right.
What? Of vegetables, fruits, and all kinds of plants. And if you are going to eat animals, then eat them just like you would do in nature, every now and then, because it wouldn't be easy to catch. Fish may be a little easier to catch, but go catch a big game, it's not easy. So eat them every now and then, make sure that they don't have any toxic chemicals, right? So to boil it down for you now, in this moment, most importantly, but always, to build resilience of your immune system and adaptability, you need to give it variability. You need to give it variety so that you cause stability, which ends in resilience. Variety of what? Mostly vegetables, and the idea is eat the rainbow.
Right.
Plants, not vegetables, just plants in general, and
Right.
eat the rainbow. Each color of the rainbow, each color of the fruits and vegetables have bioflavonoids that are
Right.
responsible for the color. For example, the ones
Beets.
responsible for blue
Yeah.
in blueberries is a flavonoid that is known to be brain protective, right? So
Right.
when you give the food variety and color, variety of color and species, then you are promoting a sturdy immune system, because the microflora is part of the immune system, but also the immune system itself, because the nutrients itself also are going to have variability, variety.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. So, in terms of then the supplement, like what to supplement with, because
So
can't
so
get it
so
all from those veggies. So,
so
I
so
know a
one
lot of people are asking. Yeah.
one more thing is this, which is tied up to your mission in life of getting toxins out of people's bodies, right? Which is, yeah, all this variety, from real foods, from fruits and vegetables, not processed food, not a can of boiled carrots or something, right?
Yeah. Beans. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would dispute what you just said. Yeah, you can get everything you need from the plant world,
Okay.
but in an ideal condition, in ideal circumstances. But we don't
Right.
live in ideal circumstances. Ideal circumstances
Even
would be
even
that,
even even more so now.
yeah, ideal circumstances would be that we would eat everything as it comes in nature. It's organic, seasonal. If it's meat or fish, it's things that you catch or that are wild caught. Things like that, right? So now,
Someone's asking, what can they do if they have a sweet tooth?
people that have sweet teeth, right? And they keep
Is it fruit?
whatever it is, right? And they
Yeah.
keep feeding the sweet tooth. they will keep themselves like that. So my advice would be to do a detox program or simply go on the elimination diet for 3 weeks, and you will see once your body starts getting healthy, your sweet tooth disappears. Your gustatory glands, they shift, and you will start enjoying broccoli more than you enjoy ice cream. And
Right.
this I say seriously. This is no joke.
Right. Just take a couple weeks and your body
In
will
terms of
shift.
supplements, the supplements that are people are using a lot now, and for good reason, are vitamin C. Vitamin C as a maintenance between 1,000 and 3,000 a day, but especially now in high doses, and especially intravenous when people are in the hospital, to treat the viral infection itself, to try to control it. Right. So vitamin C appears to be very useful. Um, but all the B vitamins, B12, but all of the B vitamins are important. And then, of course, you have to have a multivitamin and multimineral, because many of us are lacking those things, magnesium, especially zinc these days, because apparently zinc, when it goes into the cell,
Right.
it has the effect of blocking the replication of RNA, which is how the viruses take over your cell and replicate themselves, right? So,
Yeah.
so zinc is important. By the way, hydrochloroquine, apparently its biggest effect is to be a ionophore, which is a channel opener to zinc, so that
Oh
zinc can
wow, that's
go.
fascinating.
Yes, yes. So all things tie up, and really boil down to, in a way, to nutrients, right? And the effects in the cells. Um, then you have, I take moringa. Moringa is a natural multivitamin, multimineral, multi-carbohydrate, multi-fat. It has everything. A
Okay.
multi-antioxidant. I take
Moringa?
it Moringa. I take it in
Okay.
powder, and I take a fermented moringa, but you put it in your smoothies. I put it in my salads also. It's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
And just, I think a lot of us are asking ourselves, during this time, Alejandro, is kind of, what in terms of just good wellness routines and staying positive right now, is there anything that, you could recommend? And then there's a lot of questions around, great elimination diets that are out there, and I think it'd be helpful for you to talk a little bit about your clean program and the books you've written, and the amazing work that you've done, going from a cardiologist in South America to New York to some of the biggest hospitals, to really focusing on the gut, where you believe it all starts.
Yeah. So I got really sick myself when I moved from Uruguay to New York to do my training in medicine, and I started experiencing allergies and irritable bowel syndrome and depression. I was prescribed 7 prescription medications. I decided not to, and I took a long journey. I lived in a monastery in India, looking at different things, including, or mainly, meditation to calm my mind. But it wasn't until I found the practices and concepts of detoxification that I really had not only an aha moment, but the tools to completely restore not only my health as before I started the symptoms, but as never before I could remember. I mean, I looked and felt 10 years younger, right? So
Right.
that was by understanding. That took me to understanding, and many of that, most of that understanding came from functional medicine, understanding how in the world we are, through the air we breathe, the water we shower with, the medications we use, which 90% of them are fillers and excipients and coloring agents and tasting agents, just like in the food, right? Um, and this is something that tied us
It's why Genexa exists.
I know, and this is
Yeah.
why I became an advisor, because otherwise I'm not interested in companies. But but I said this company, when I heard what you were doing, it's like you are the first one in the organic food movement, right? But the organic medication movement.
Right.
So Yeah, but mostly through the food we eat, we are exposed to all these chemicals. This go into your blood and cause all kinds of disruption. The good news is that your liver can take care of it, and many other cells can take care of it. But we're lacking the nutrients and we're lacking the energy because we're always digesting. So
Right.
we end up all getting toxic. So I learned how to create the conditions for the detox system to really activate itself. But since nothing is disconnected from anything else, the digestive system, the immune system, and the detoxification system all intersect in the gut, right?
Right.
And I wrote a book about detoxification. I wrote a book about uh, um, the gut health, right? And now
Yeah.
I think my next book has to be about immunity.
There you go. It's got
Yeah.
to be.
So this is the perfect
But it
time.
all plays in. I mean, gut plays into mental health. It plays into cardiac health. I mean, it's just across the board. Kind of what you put into your system.
Yeah. Yeah. Your gut communicates with every part of your body and dictates a lot of
Right.
what happens in your body, right?
Yeah.
And the food that you eat is not only the building blocks of your body and whatever it produces, it's also information. It's also a dictation of how your genes are going to be expressed. Because for
Right.
many years, we realized that only 5% of the genetic code we could identify the proteins and the things that they're doing. But
Right.
95% was called the dark matter of DNA, right?
Right.
But now we're understanding that this DNA really is uh, really intimately involved in regulating a lot of things, and the way that this DNA gets activated or blocked is through nutrition.
Right.
So through nutrition, we are telling our bodies what to do. You know?
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Dr. Younger, I really appreciate you taking the time, and if we can just end maybe on something positive, let's just, I think all this information's been phenomenal, and I encourage people
Something
to read your books and see what it's all about, because I know that you've had an effect on many people's lives from pretty much all walks of life, and it's remarkable what
something.
you've done.
Thank you. Something positive would be this. This is the perfect time to try something like the Clean program, because
Right.
it organizes you, it gives you structure, and of course, it's going to give you a more quiet and resilient immune system. It's going to correct some of your gut damage. So all in all, it's an incredible thing. Now, if you don't want to do it and it's too hard for you, I mean, you can do it from the book or you can do it from the kit. Our company has these kits and they have the shakes and everything, and it's just so easy to do, right? You don't
Right.
even have to go to the supermarket because you have everything there except your lunch. It's a
Right.
shake, a lunch, and a shake, right? But if you don't want to do that, try the elimination diet, which is basically eliminating everything that has chemicals that's not natural. So what does that leave you with? All the whole foods, all
Right.
the vegetables, all the fruits, all the nuts and seeds, everything.
Right.
Plus, if you want to eat fish, make sure it's wild caught and not farmed. If you want to eat chicken, make sure it's free range and not injected with stuff and fed in
Right.
the wrong way, right? So, what are the things to avoid in the elimination diet? Are sugar, dairy, gluten, coffee, and alcohol.
Got it.
And it's easier to eliminate them all together than to go by one. Because
Right.
some people say, "Oh, well, let's negotiate. I'll do sugar, but I'll cut off." No, everything
Right.
together, cold turkey, boom.
Yeah.
You have a couple of days that the body is a little confused and
Yeah.
whining for certain things, but then things start falling into a certain order that
You don't you
is
don't
not.
crave you don't crave them anymore.
You don't crave them
No.
anymore. That takes about a week, but it's
Yeah.
worth going through it. But
Right.
but it not only stabilizes and makes your immune system more resilient and makes your digestive system, less wasteful in the energy it spends, and it really gives an order of things and makes your detoxification system really function optimally. It gives you clarity, and it gives you
Yeah.
even emotional balance.
So So, a couple questions, and then we'll wrap up here. But there's a couple. Some of the attendees would like if you could comment again on the 5 things to eliminate, and then what can they do instead of coffee? Because I think for a lot of people, coffee is the way of life.
Yeah, the 5 things are sugar, dairy, gluten, coffee, and
And
alcohol.
alcohol.
Right now,
Right.
coffee it's not a problem if you drink organic coffee without chemicals,
Right.
and if you don't depend on coffee in order to function.
Okay.
If you don't have your coffee and you cannot function, then stop your coffee. Don't
How
have,
about green tea?
green tea is great, herbal teas are great, matcha is great, mate
Okay.
is great. There's many ways of getting a little caffeine there, but not in the way that coffee gives you, that it becomes like cocaine, and when you come
Right.
down, you need another one to pick you up.
That's right. That's
But
right.
that also means that your immune system is experiencing that kind of lag in energy.
Got it.
So yeah, those are the 5 things, and that's the way to replace coffee.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Younger, it's good to see you through the screen, and I'm sure we'll see each other soon in person. And thanks for your time, and stay healthy. And to everyone that's watching, stay healthy. And we're wishing you all the best through this. And we'll see you on the other side, guys.
Yes, see you all on the other side.
Bye bye.
Bye.